Hello YouTube, I'm Nigel from Selcouth Productions, and this is Versus. Welcome back. It looks like it is going to be weekly, and today we are going to be comparing the top 3 Nintendo series, and that is Pokemon, Mario, and Metroid. And I'm just going to be doing the main series for Mario and Pokemon. And I guess Metroid as well, since it had Metroid Pinball. So that discludes all the Mario spin-off titles like Super Mario Strikers, as well as the Pokemon spin-off titles like, Mystery Dungeon. So, yeah. Don't know what these Sony systems are doing, we're talking about Nintendo. Get out of here. First off, let's talk about our different competitors, starting with the Mario series. I chose to demonstrate the Mario series using Super Mario Bros. 3 since that's my favorite Mario game. So, what is it that makes this guy here so great? Well, there's many things. For one thing, it's wonderful platforming action. And I think we can all agree Mario is still the best platformer out there. And he practically invented platforming, so he has good reason. Well, aside from great platforming, Mario games, while they tend to be easier now, still can provide a good satisfying challenge. And even newer games like Super Mario Galaxy have proved that even on newer consoles, Mario can still have a challenge. So I think the reason why Mario has become so famous is because of his great games with great platforming, as well as a good difficulty. So that is why Mario is such a good selling series. While I don't own that many Mario games compared to some other Nintendo series, it is still one of my all-time favorite series. So, there we go. Now we know why Mario is what it is today. Okay, now let's talk about Pokemon. I love Pokemon, and I'm sure you can tell. I've got a lot of Pokemon cards. I've got Pikachu right there too, and I've got a game from every single generation. It is probably the Nintendo series that I have the most games from, and it is one of my favorite games, just like the Mario series. What does the Pokemon games have going for them? Well, for one thing, they too provide a good, satisfying challenge. Not all of their newer games, I will admit that some of the newer games are easier, but they've always provided a satisfying challenge, and the original Pokemon games were just so groundbreaking for a handheld game. The newer ones are still great, but what I liked about Black was how it was, just like the originals, once again, something brand new. So, I hope that Pokemon will continue innovating just like they did with their original games, and I'd say that's what Pokemon have going towards it, besides from the side series and the shows. I'm just talking about the games. If not, I would have brought in the shows and the cards. But Pokemon, what it has going towards it, is a good challenge and fun, addictive gameplay. Lastly, let's talk about Metroid. Metroid 2 was very innovative when it first came out. It was partly side-scrolling like the Mario games, and partly adventure like the Zelda games. Yeah, maybe I should have brought Zelda in instead of Metroid, but whatever. I chose Metroid. So here we are, comparing Metroid. So, in the original Metroid games, you continued to wander around until eventually things became familiar, and you eventually got to bosses, etc, etc, etc. And that's still what the Metroid formula pretty much is today. And it's coined terms like Metroidvania. So, obviously Metroid has had a pretty big influence. And what does Metroid have going towards it? Well, as I've already covered, a unique gameplay experience, as well as a good difficulty. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating and a little too vague, but it's still enjoyable. And I'd say that's what Metroid has going towards it, and why it has become what it is today. So, now that we know the basis of the 3 series that I've chosen, let's go on to determine which one's the best. So, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be this guy right here? This cute little electric mouse? Or this girl in a big metal suit? Well, let's take a look, shall we? There's been a lot of Mario games, so it obviously has a lot of games going for it. There's been quite a few Pokemon games, so it has a lot of games going for it. There hasn't been all that many Metroid games. I think that in terms of the games covering the most area, it would probably be Mario, but that's because of the spin-off titles. Now in the main series, covering the most area would have to be Metroid, because even the original game itself is like 2 entire types of game mixed into one, and then they also had the first-person shooter or first-person adventure, as Nintendo called it in Metroid Prime, in the Metroid Prime trilogy. So that is the game series that's covered the most area for sure in the main series. But which one was the most innovative would probably have to be Super Mario Bros. And which one is the most addictive would definitely have to be Pokemon. So as you can see, they each have one thing really going for them. But which one's most fun? Mario games have extreme replayability, and I'm still playing a lot of the old Mario games now. Like Super Mario Bros. 3 for instance. And Pokemon games don't quite have that replayability, but you certainly want to play them more when you're playing through it for the first time. Metroid games, they last longer, and they're a lot more fulfilling, but are they necessarily more fun while you're doing that? Sometimes Metroid games you can just start to feel lost. And I don't like that. I like the more linear path that Mario and Pokemon follow. So, there we go. We have our one competitor knocked out. Say goodbye. And now, who's it gonna be? Mario or Pokemon? Dun dun dun. Which one is most innovative? Mario. Which one is most addictive? Pokemon. Which one have I spent more time playing? Pokemon. If you look at your times in Pokemon games, you'll probably be amazed how many hours you put into them without even realizing it. Whereas Mario games, while you can continuously replay them, they honestly don't take too much time to play. So, you put a lot more time into Pokemon games. And I'd say that there's a reason for that. Pokemon games, I think they are a little more fulfilling. Because what? What's so great about rescuing a princess? You rescue her every single game. Can she really not protect herself? Is she really that helpless? Sure, Pokemon games follow pretty much the same story every time, but it's a little more fulfilling to become the Pokemon Master than to have a cake baked for you. Do you agree? Of course you do. You'd rather become a master of Pokemon than get a cake, wouldn't you? I know I would. So, I have to say, I think Pokemon is the best Nintendo series. This is just a personal opinion, so I don't want any hate letters or anything saying, oh, Mario's way better. You know? Because I do agree, it's really close. But I thought this through before filming this, so this isn't just on the whim. Because there are more things going for Pokemon in my opinion. Or maybe it's just that I like Pokemon more. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think Pokemon's better than Mario. So let me know if you agree, but you can also let me know your reasons for disagreeing if you do. But this has been Versus. Thanks for watching.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause.